Welcome. Today, I want to talk about how you can take $20 a day and turn it into $1 million in retirement and how show you how to do that. Hi, my name is Jeff Wright. I'm with Fish Creek Capital. We're a registered investment advisory firm in Leeds, Alabama, which is near Birmingham. We love helping people figure out their retirement and how they can have cash flow during retirement. So, can you retire with $1 million on $20 a day? Let's take a look at the calculator and see what it shows us. I'm going to share my screen. I am doing this live, so bear with me. Thank you for watching. Please like and subscribe. So behind me, you see our Fish Creek Capital dividend investing calculator, and investing is really easy. You don't have to make it complicated, and you don't even need a financial advisor necessarily to do so. And so let's just say you're going to not pick stocks. You're just going to invest in the market. You can use the SPY, SPY. That is a ETF for the S&P 500. You can see here on Seeking Alpha, which is a tool that I like to use. SPY is an ETF, an exchange traded fund that you can buy yourself that is low cost and covers the S&P 500. So that's going to give you broad market exposure and is going to track what the S&P does each year. So we're just going to use that in our example. We're going to start with $0 on our calculator. We're going to take $20 a day. And if you just take simple math and do $20 a day times 30 days, that's $600 a month. And so that's where the $600 comes from. The SPY actually pays a dividend, which we're a big fan of. Let's come over here to Seeking Alpha again, and you can see that the trailing 12-month yield on the SPY is 1.05%. So let's put that in. I've got that here already. And we're going to take 10% as the average return for the S&P over the last several years. And we're going to do this for 25 years. Look what you have after 25 years, $934,000. That's just $20 a day. Most of us can find $20 a day. So like, how could you do that? That's one trip to Starbucks, and one lunch will give you $1 million during retirement. So the other thing I want to point out on this quick video is this 1.05% yield on the S&P. It actually grows, which here at Fish Creek, we focus on how our companies growing their dividend. Well, because the S&P is made up of companies, it actually has a growth rate on that 1% dividend. So if you go back to Seeking Alpha again and look at the 10-year history, you can see that this is the dividend growth rate for the last 10 years. We've got 5.64% just on the SPY. Again, anybody can do this. Let's put 5.64% on that growth and look how it gets you over $1 million. So we went from $934,000 to using the 10-year growth rate at 5.64%, and we come back to $1.2 million after 25 years, just doing $20 a day and putting that into an investment account covering the S&P 500 index. This gives you an income of around $41,000 a year with a yield on your contributions, which is $180,000, is all you're putting in over 25 years to get to 1.2 million for retirement. That gives you a yield or a return of 23% a year just on dividends alone. So let's scroll down and you can see how your dividend income just grows. So the longer you go, the more it compounds. And as you get to the point of where even you start getting 9%, 11%, you're beating the S&P 500 every year just in dividends alone. That's pretty exciting. It's pretty comforting. It gives you a plan for your retirement. You're not really guessing or hoping you're in an S&P 500 ETF, which is just a broad market ETF. And these are the kind of the results that you can expect. Now, this calculator is for informational purposes only. This is not guaranteed. Past performance does not guarantee future performance, but we're using this as educational, information that can encourage you to save for retirement. And the best thing you can do on top of just $20 a day is make sure you're automating your investment. You can do this with a Schwab account. You can do this with Interactive Brokers. You can do it with Robinhood. You can do it with Fidelity. You can set up an account and automatically take that $20 a day from your checking account and have that invested into the SPY. Investing does not have to be complicated. It doesn't have to be hard. Just the hardest part about it is the discipline of following that plan and being intentional with your money so that you can ultimately live your life by design and have a plan when you are ready to retire and know where that cash flow is going to come from. And you don't need a ton of money to do it. So I hope that's encouraging. This is a short video. Again, please like and subscribe. But I want you to catch the vision for even $20 a day starting from scratch can give you 900,000 to 1.2 million for retirement. And that's pretty exciting.